Hey, so my name is Cristina. I'm a second-year PhD student at Cardiff Uni. My research is mainly focused on intestinal stem cells, but tonight I want to talk to you about probiotics. I am going to start off with a little bit of history about probiotics. The first use of fermented drinks are dated 10,000 years ago, when farming started to replace hunting and gathering. However, it was not until much later in ancient Greece when Hippocrates made the link between health and food. I am sure you all know one of his most famous quotes, "Let food be the medicine and medicine be the food." For many centuries after Hippocrates' time, it was known that substances in the gut were beneficial for health. For example, rumen transformation, using the gut from a healthy animal to treat a sick recipient animal, was practiced long before our understanding of microorganisms. Transformation was first used in the 1600s, and it is still a common practice for vets. But by then, all these practices were based on experiences and not on any scientific evidence. It was the great French chemist Louis Pasteur in the 19th century who finally concluded that microorganisms initiated lactic acid fermentation. 100 years later, Mechnikov, a Russian scientist, was the first one to link these microorganisms to health benefits. He related the health and longevity of Bulgarian peasants with their massive ingestion of yogurt, which contained large quantities of lactobacillus species. In 1907, Mechnikov wrote his famous text, The Prolongation of Life, based on his findings. This book is the first scientific description of the potential of eating microorganisms to improve human health. This concept is now widely accepted as the probiotic principle. The term probiotic means literally for life. It came out in 1953 to describe various organic and inorganic supplements that were believed to have the ability to restore the health of malnourished patients. But that is not what the term refers to anymore. In 2001, the World Health Organization described probiotics as live microorganisms which, when administered in adequate amounts, confer health benefit to the host. And that is our understanding nowadays. Since then, the probiotic market has grown rapidly, both for food and supplements. In 2013, the worldwide market for probiotics was worth $36 billion. Just so you can have an idea on how big this is, the games market was worth $70 billion that same year. But what's the science behind the use of probiotics? The use of probiotics relies on the importance of the gut microbiota. The human gut microbiota is mainly inoculated at birth. Microbial diversity develops as feeding and dietary patterns mature. By the age of 3-5, the microbiota resembles that in the adult. The microbiota has a ton of roles that contribute to the host health. I am not going to enumerate all of them, but just so you can have an idea, the gut microbiome encodes over 3 million genes that producing thousands of metabolites that have a health effect. In contrast, the human genome has only 23,000 genes. Even though an individual's gut microbiota is unique, their functions are highly preserved among different people. Gut microbiota is composed of several species of microorganisms, including bacteria, yeast, and viruses. Within the population, it is estimated that 90% of our microbiome is made up of 2 bacteria types, the firmicutes and the bacteriates. Firmicutes are bacteria that tell your body to crave sugar so that you consume junk food so that they can live. Firmicutes can also generate inflammation and have an impact on slowing down your body's metabolism. Studies show that a higher ratio of firmicutes within the gut is linked to obesity. On the other hand, studies show that when there are more bacteroids found within the gut microbiota, the less likely obesity is. This is because your bacteroids are fat feeders which block inflammation within the body and have a high impact on helping speed up the body's metabolism. Therefore, maintaining a fine balance between firmicutes and bacteroids ratios becomes really important for the host health. An imbalance in your intestinal microbiota is called dysbiosis, and it can lead to different diseases such as inflammatory bowel disease, obesity, diabetes, food intolerances, and even mental disorders. Dysbiosis can result from challenges such as medications, infections, aging, lifestyle, surgery, and of course, poor nutrition. The role of probiotics would be to maintain the fine balance between good and bad bacteria in the gut. But can probiotics make any health claim? To answer this question, we will have to differentiate between supplements and drug or medication. Supplements are products taken orally for supplementing the diet. They are not regulated and do not need to be tested for safety. No proof is required to demonstrate their effectiveness. We can see here a label of a probiotic supplement, and even though it claims some health benefits, it then tells you that there is no evidence for it and that supplements should not be used to diagnose, treat, or prevent any disease. And that is exactly the definition of a medication. Medications are substances intended to diagnose, treat, and cure any disease. Medication must pass clinical trials before being released to the public, and the test needs to prove that each drug is safe. At this point, are probiotics food supplements or drug? We ran a poll on Twitter. By the way, follow us on Twitter, asking this question, and 75% of people thought that probiotics were food supplements. But the answer is they are both. As we can see in the other graph here, research concerning probiotics and the gut benefits they may have has increased significantly in recent years. But nowadays, only a few strains are considered to be probiotic drugs. Currently, probiotics are classified into 3 broad categories. A first one, and the biggest one, comprising probiotics with no health claims. They're considered safe, but their efficacy is not proven. A second one refers to food supplements with some health claims related to reinforcing natural defenses. And the third one, and also the smallest one nowadays, comprises probiotic drugs that are specific bacterial strains that have gone through clinical trials and have been proven to be efficient against certain diseases. The strongest evidence points out that probiotics can be used for the prevention of 5 different diseases: antibiotic-associated diarrhea, Helicobacter pylori infection, pediatric diarrhea, allergies, and inflammatory bowel disease. So the take-home message for this would be that probiotics, as most food supplements, are not one-size-fits-all product. The importance of microbiota is clear for many diseases and is involved in many disorders, but that does not mean that eating microorganisms can treat it all. Examples of the potential of microorganisms are explained here, some headlines I found online. They are thought to help treat acne, they could reverse Parkinson, and some even say that they may be a health miracle. But none of this has been proven. So I just want to wrap it all up by saying that even something as probiotics may look really promising, it needs to be proved before any health claim can be made. And that would be all from me today.
Wonderful. That was a really fantastic talk. Thank you very much, Cristina. So if anyone has any questions for Cristina, feel free to throw them in the chat or just speak up on your microphone to get the ball. Oh, yeah.
I actually have a question, Jordan,
yes,
if I may.
Absolutely. Go.
I could be the first keen one to ask. So, Cristina, that was a really interesting talk. And having worked alongside someone who is actually working with animal gut microbiota, of course, we are more aware that the human gut microbiome is considered another functional organ. That's something that a lot of scientists who are working on this seem to accept. If we as researchers accept that to be the case, how do we think the modern diet of humanity is impacting this gut organ? let's say, this other organ compared to, let's say, our ancestors?
Yeah, the change in nutrition, mostly eating junk food, is increasing the ratio of firmicutes, and that increase in the ratio, it's linked to many modern diseases such as obesity.
So I guess the next question is there an ideal diet that supports the ideal gut microbiota?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There is, and nutrition is the key factor for the microbiota. For example, probiotics are not thought to have any effect on healthy people. So nutrition can change your microbiota, and if you have a good nutrition and a good diet, which means probably eating vegetables, eating fruit, you're gonna have a good microbiota, and you're not gonna need any external supplement or drug to boost your immune system or to boost your health. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. Interesting.
Very welcome.
Cool. Any other questions from anyone else? While you think, I've got one. So obviously we're in an era of increasing personalization in medicine with things like 23andMe and Ancestry DNA and all of these different things, bringing personalized genomics and things like that. Do you think it could ever extend into personalized microbiomics, if that's a term, for things like applying appropriate probiotics to people?
For sure. So probiotics nowadays, if the supplements people are given, are a mix of a lot of strains. And not all strains are known. So knowing what strain someone may need based on genomics may help give like treatment that are more personalized, more individually thought. So yeah, for sure.